Today, I was going to break down what games I think Nintendo is going to release in 2021. Let me know in the comments and subscribe to the channel if you still want that video to come next week. But then I got to the Pokemon section of that script and realized that next year is Pokemon's 25th anniversary. Every regular on this channel knows that I, of all people, would not be able to fit a Pokemon section in a 15-minute long video where I gotta fit a whole bunch of other games. So I'm making a video completely dedicated to that. What all could Pokemon Company have in store for us for the 25th anniversary of their major franchise? Let's talk about it. The most requested, obvious release anticipated in the Pokemon community has got to be Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes. To be honest, they've been something fans have clamored for since Pokemon's 20th anniversary. So you'd have to imagine if this isn't the year, oh no, rip Pokemon Company's social media for yet another year. But let's assume they do make the remakes. What would they be like and what would they entail? I think regardless of what they do content wise, it'll no doubt be a huge jump from the original game and a nice full circle sort of deal, since Diamond and Pearl were the first Pokemon games to dip their toes into making the world look more 3D. Now with the Pokemon games making the jump to not only being full 3D models but full 3D HD graphics, these games will look light years better when we're comparing them to Diamond and Pearl. But I think we also can expect to see improvements made from Sword and Shield and its DLC. Things like improvements made to the existing Pokemon animations in their models. By no means will this be the game that'll satisfy the Dexit crowd. These remakes on a technical level and visual level will very much so be a byproduct of Gen 8, just like every other Pokemon remake to date was for their respective new gen. That said, I think there will be a fair amount of improvements made, even beyond what was done in the DLC. Although I'm sure the DLC will contribute its fair share of direct improvements, like your Pokemon following you in more areas than before. And that's mostly because I assume the team working on the remakes will be largely separate from the Pokemon Sword and Shield team. And because of all that, the remake team will be able to just build off the foundation set by the original Gen 8 team rather than starting completely from scratch. That said, some of the remake team's efforts will probably be spent bringing many, if not all, of the Pokemon not found in the Galar region games or their DLC into these remakes. More importantly though, new stuff. The campaign for Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum is perhaps the most epic story of every Pokemon generation. Gen 5 fans may have something to say about that, but like, these games literally introduced God to the Pokemon franchise. So I think it's a fair assessment to say that these are just a skosh more epic than Gen 5. And with that distinction, I think Game Freak will likely use this as an opportunity to flex their animation chops a bit and continue the improvements from each iteration of the Sword and Shield expansion pass. I also think it's likely that we'll have a similar approach to the post-game that the Gen 3 remakes had to theirs, with the Platinum episode of some sort to be able to play through some of the story beats from Pokemon Platinum. If I had to choose one dream update for the campaign in the Gen 4 remakes, it would have to be an improved approach to the structure of the story. The original Gen 4 games are oddly paced with random spots throughout either overstaying their welcome or others not getting enough time to truly shine. Game Freak has done a solid enough job at consolidating Pokemon games in many areas, so I'm sure this game's pace will benefit from those improvements, but I would love nothing more for them to tighten up Gen 4 story beats on top of that. A major part of Gen 8 was the introduction to what open world Pokemon can be by way of the wild area. While that is very much so built into the Galar region's topography and therefore unlikely to make it into an older game retroactively properly, I can see them going back to this format using the underground that was a feature in the original Gen 4 games. Of course, I would expect them to want to make it more geographically diverse by including more biomes, like maybe a sky area, an ocean area, and a grassland of some kind. Or they can just say screw it and make Pokemon of all kinds appear underground for whatever story-based reason. I think the former is the less likely scenario, but it wouldn't be completely unprecedented for them to add more areas to the map. In fact, it's more common for them to do this than for them to not, not, with the only remakes that didn't get some level of this treatment being the Gen 2 remakes. But at any rate, I expect them to bring back the mining mini-games, the secret base features, and the ability to explore with a few friends. Maybe not so much the last one, instead opting for a similar online solution to what is seen in Galar's Wild area, but hopefully they ironed out some of the frame issues when you're playing with people online. I also think we'll see them take another shot at a mode that is similar to the Dynamax raids and/or adventures. Whether that'll mean Dynamax Pokemon will make their way to the Gen 4 remakes, I think is up in the air, but they'll find some reason to justify the return of this raid format. Those features have become pretty important to the Pokemon experience. PvE was a great option to make readily available, and it's something I don't see them regressing on. Gen 4 was chock full of side story content in a similar vein to the Dynamax adventures and raids, so I want to spend a bit of time talking about what I'd like to see them do with all of that as well. While Pokemon contests were introduced in the generation prior, Diamond and Pearl updated them to be more involved, with 2 mini-games being featured rather than the original singular mini-game. I think we'll see them bring back the Pokemon contest in that format again, albeit not as cool as they should be. A bit of a side note, but I fear we may never get the fully realized Pokemon contest from the anime that we so deserve. They'd be absolutely incredible with a Breath of the Wild chemistry engine like system, but I digress. Continuing on the topic of legacy features Gen 4 reintroduced that I think we may see in these remakes, the Battle Frontier. The Battle Frontier is post-game content that I always had a fun time getting through, as it was a more complex approach to the gym leader system. I can definitely see them bringing this back with maybe some options to play online, or maybe they'll swap out Battle Frontier brains for new ones that we haven't seen before. I'm not sure, but I do expect it to return in some way. Speaking of the Battle Frontier, Gen 4 was a major event for the competitive Pokemon scene with the introduction of Wi-Fi battles for the series. I would be surprised if they didn't use this to add more features to the online battling system. Maybe they'll add a fully featured online tournament similar to how Smash Brothers does it, even if that's just some sort of Battle Frontier feature like I mentioned before. But I think it'll also take more strides toward making competitive battling more approachable, like every Pokemon game has done before it. Maybe this time they'll focus on helping trainers determine the best movesets for their Pokemon based on the results of ranked battles, or maybe even official tournament strats. Honestly, I can go on and on about the Gen 4 remake specifically. Honestly, that's an entire video in and of itself, but this video is supposed to be about Pokemon's 25th anniversary as a whole, and I'm sure they'll do more than just the remake, so let's talk about all of that, starting with Pokemon Snap.
While it didn't get announced as part of Pokemon's Silver Jubilee, new Pokemon Snap absolutely encapsulates a lot of what I'd like to see in this anniversary celebration. After being shown off in mid-2020, new Pokemon Snap, for all intents and purposes, seems to be a cross between a sequel and a remake of the original 1999 classic on the Nintendo 64. But even if this game wasn't originally part of the anniversary, it can slot into it very easily. The best way for it to do so is by cleverly making gameplay and environmental callbacks, all while building an entirely new game for anyone to enjoy. We all know how fun it is to watch a movie or a show that has little Easter eggs for those of us who know the references being made, but it certainly doesn't demand this pre-existing knowledge of newcomers. So I would love 95% of new Pokemon interactions in this game, but have small touches like the Slowpoke getting bit on the tail by a Shelder and turning into a Slowbro as a direct callback, and then later that same Slowbro interacting in some way with a King's Rock and turning into a Slowking as an evolution of the original idea. This game is going to thrive off of its noteworthy water cooler moments, and while most of these should be brand new, the way to celebrate Pokemon's legacy is to include just a few nods to the original game to solidify the evolution and continuity of this franchise.
Apart from all of that, it's extremely likely, if not guaranteed, that Pokemon will extend their celebratory efforts into all of their other active games. I'd assume we'll see some more general stuff come into Pokemon Home to celebrate across Sword and Shield and the Gen 4 remakes. They'll probably double down on the Pokemon Go integration they announced would be coming to Home, using that as the jumping off point for whatever Pokemon Go activity activities they have planned. And I'm sure that is going to be by way of a new wave of Pokemon being added to Pokemon Go from Gen 6. We gotta assume Pokemon Unite will be a part of this celebration, and maybe even Pokken Tournament, since that game is not exactly a stranger to post-release content. Maybe we'll get Urshifu added as post-release DLC. Speaking of DLC, with the 25th anniversary in mind, I'm formally stating I'm going from vaguely expecting another Pokemon to be added in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass 2 to being shocked if we don't see it happen. As far as which Pokemon, if we're being real, there's a lot of source material to pull from with this series. It's anyone's guess who will actually be the pick. But I will repeat for the billionth time, I want a Pokemon trainer. I don't care what region it's from. It could be the Gen 4 trainer. It could be the Gen 8 trainer. Just give me another Pokemon trainer. Anything else would be comparatively meh in my opinion. That 3 Pokemon format represents the Pokemon franchise better than any other character in the game, and I think if they're going to extend that representation, they should do it right with the best type of representation for that franchise.
While the Pokemon Company is all for returning to its roots in Kanto across multiple games, there are tons of Pokemon spin-off titles that, outside of their original releases and some virtual console re-releases, risk being lost to time. So I would love to see a spin-off collection of some of the best that Pokemon's had to offer over the years. They could choose any or all of the following: Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Puzzle League, Pokemon Pinball, or the Pokemon Trading Card Game. Personally, I'd be most excited about a version of the Pokemon Trading Card Game and Pokemon Stadium, as those were the most important in my own childhood. But I'd be even more excited if this collection was more varied than I'm thinking now, and even included both Pokemon Pinball games, both Western Stadium games, and even localized the Pokemon Trading Card Game sequel. This was only released in Japan, but is a great candidate for a release in the West, as it's a direct sequel to the original. It just needs to be localized. And while Pokemon as a whole is celebrating its 25th anniversary, most of these titles are right around 20 years old themselves, so this would be a perfect opportunity.
We'll be sure to see some other mobile updates. Pokemon Sleep is a thing I'm sure will be made a part of this celebration. We'll get Pokemon Masters updates, I'm sure. Maybe another off-the-cuff game of some sort for mobile. Also, I'm personally looking forward to what they do in the merch and TCG department, because I like having good-looking Pokemon things. But I want to know what you think Pokemon Company is going to do for the 25th anniversary. What do you want to see them do? Did we miss anything obvious? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, we would appreciate it if you click the subscribe button, like the video, and share it with a friend that also likes Pokemon and is excited to celebrate its 25th anniversary. If you want to see more from us, feel free to go to our Twitch, twitch.tv/fanatixfour, follow us on Twitter, all that stuff's linked in the description, and ring the bell here to be notified when new videos go up every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.